Hi, this is a Bennett's Wallaby. This is a little female. She's about almost a year old now. Very gentle, very fun animals. They come from Australia. In Australia, they're found mostly on the island of Tasmania. Very, very powerful claws, very long legs. We basically treat these kind of like a dog. They do very, very well in indoor-outdoor situations. It's better not to have them hopping around your house, as they tend to knock over things on the coffee table. We recommend that they be set up in a nice roomy backyard or a very large pen that would be heated in the winter and possibly cooled in the summer if you come from a very hot place. They eat a prepared food called kangaroo food or happy hopper food. It's specially formulated for wallabies and kangaroos. This is a male veiled chameleon. Veiled chameleons come from the Sudan area of Africa. This is a 1-year-old male. They will get about twice as big as this. Females don't get nearly as large. As you can see, this guy is antisocial. He doesn't like us, and I don't blame him. Chameleons are antisocial animals. They prefer being alone. They don't do well in pairs, and they don't do well together. Males tend to combat. Even if they don't touch each other, they're still combating across the room from each other. It's more of a psychological battle. Veiled chameleons are called that because of this large casque on their head. It gets bigger as they get more mature. Like I said, the females get about half this size. This is a common boa constrictor. This in the trade is known as a hypomelanistic or a salmon boa. This type of boa is genetically altered and it's missing most of its black pigment. So all the reds and the browns come out quite a bit more. Boa constrictors are actually a staple of the pet trade. These are found in the wild from Mexico all through the way through Central and South America, also on some of the islands in the Caribbean, and also in the Pacific off the coast of Honduras and places like that. This is a Mexican red knee tarantula. They're native to Mexico. This is not quite full grown. A full grown female will get about the size of my entire hand. This is captive bred. They are venomous. All tarantulas are venomous. However, the venom on this animal is not harmful to people. It'll hurt really bad, but it definitely won't kill you. They rarely ever bite, especially these that are bred in captivity. This is on the endangered species list in Mexico. Excuse me. So they're illegal to import. So all of these have to be captive bred to keep them legally. They have 2 big fangs right up here at the front, and also to help them deter predators. You see this little bald spot here. When they get upset, they actually kick the hairs off of their body, and these hairs are very irritating and deter prey from attacking them. Well, this is an African pygmy hedgehog. As the name implies, they come from Africa, some of the more semi-arid areas of northern Africa. This is a baby. They get about the size of a softball when they're rolled up. Babies, as you can see, are usually about the size of a baseball. They're very sharp, very spiky. They control individually each one of these spines, which are used to deter prey, predators from making them prey. Once they get to know you, and they're not very nervous, they rarely ever ball up, and they rarely ever spike you. And these spikes are capable of making you bleed if they really... This is an Australian bearded dragon. This is probably the best pet lizard in the world. They don't run, they don't jump, they don't bite, they don't scratch, they eat anything organic, and all they want to do is sit around and eat and have babies all day long. They come from Australia. In the wild in Australia, they're actually fairly aggressive. In captivity, they're very mellow, very easy to care for. This is a ball python. Ball pythons are found in Africa. They get about 3 to 4 feet long. They're very tame, very popular. And as you can see from this one, they come in a variety of different colors and morphs and patterns. And this is what's called a piebald ball python. And they're known for having a lack of pigment over various portions of their body. They make very good pets. These are all captive bred in the United States. They grow to a very manageable size. This is a North American possum. These are found throughout the eastern United States, the southern states, through the Midwest, and they're now found in Washington, Oregon, and California. This is a baby. They'll get about twice as big as this. They're omnivores in the wild. They'll eat almost anything. They're scavengers. They'll eat insects, other small rodents, earthworms, vegetables, fruit. In captivity, we actually have a possum mix that we sell and that you can buy that has a mixture of everything that's real good for them. If they like fruit, they'll eat canned dog food. They'll eat dry dog food. They need a fairly roomy cage that they can climb in and climb up into. They like to hide in holes. This is a Mandarin Newt, also sometimes called a Chinese crocodile newt. As the name indicates, they come from China and Vietnam and Thailand and areas around in there, and near Tibet also. They get fairly good size. There are a lot of different types of Mandarin Newts, some that get much bigger than this. They're semi-aquatic. They're basically in the salamander family. This is a chinchilla. Chinchillas come from South America. They live up in the Andes where it's fairly cold. They're very well known for their very thick, very soft fur. These have been used and are still used to this day for clothing. Their fur is much sought after for fur coats. Of course, we prefer having the fur stay on the animal, and they make fantastic pets. This is a red bull snake. Bull snakes are found from the south central United States all the way into central United States. They're part of the gopher snake family, which is a very large family of snakes found literally from coast to coast, from Canada all the way down into Central America. They get very large. Some of these snakes have been documented up to over 7 feet long. This one would be from Texas. In Texas, they do have a variety that are kind of got this reddish tint. And in the wild, they live in open fields and wooded areas. They eat mice all the way up to small rabbits. In captivity, a nice roomy cage with a hiding place, a heat source, which we usually use a heat pad. And this is a girl, and she eats large rats. We feed them to them dead, pre-killed. We don't feed our snakes live food, mainly for the protection of the snake. They get very big. As you can see, she's probably a good 5 feet long now.